We'll be really focusing as we kick off on the legislature. We'll be moving forward with our strategic plan, focusing on enrollment and serving our students and communities, all those good things. We are looking pretty good right now in enrollment for the spring semester as well. So hopefully, knock on wood, that will stay and everybody's ready to come and upskill and reskill.
It's 2025, but we're looking back at 2024 highlights of the accomplishments at Fort Hays State University. I'm Becky Kiser, and I'm talking with President Tisa Mason on this episode of the Hays Post podcast.
Our nursing department, and especially the leadership in nursing, is just outstanding. And one of the highlights, I think, for us of January was when we signed a memorandum that ensured every graduate from a Kansas community college who completed their licensure for the RN had automatic admissions to Fort Hays State University, so that they knew that they were guaranteed a spot. And our nursing program specifically focuses on rural health care, and that's why that's important.
Yes. Do you have you seen a difference already? Can you see that so quickly within the past year?
I believe so. I think I just saw a stat indicating that a large percentage of some of our incoming students are coming directly from the community colleges.
Excellent. Good to know that. Some great partnerships there as well with community colleges. And then when we look ahead towards the spring of 2024, and this was fun for the entire community, to talk about celebrating and sharing with the community. And it's hard to believe, 25 years Sternberg Museum of Natural History has been here.
Yes, it was really fun to be out at the building and have that celebration, and lots of folks. Senator Moran, I believe, was back, and President Hammond joined us, and we just had a great time talking about how the building came to be and the history of Sternberg. And I just am really proud of what our colleagues do and how they program. I love their summer camps for kids program.
And they bring people from across the country.
All over the country, all ages too, little peeps all the way up to high school and college kids. So it's really tremendous what they do.
Also in March was something that people may not really understand what it is, but it's important that the university has this. And I know that you want to tout it, the accreditation from the Higher Learning Commission.
Yeah, so we are required to be accredited if we want to get financial aid, federal financial aid. And it's really great to have peer review anyway. And just it's a lot of work for people to prepare for these visits. And we were so excited that we passed every single criteria. And that just ensures that we're telling the public how high quality of an education. Everybody knows we have value and accessibility, but that quality is really there, and it's looked at externally by other people to say remarkable programs.
The good housekeeping seal of approval, kind of.
Exactly.
And then in April, of course, we've been talking about this, and it is still ongoing, but we kicked off the renovation of Forsyth Library, and that is really it's going to look totally different than when I was a student.
Yes, and you can drive by and see some of the changes externally. Most of it's going to be internally, but we've got big windows going in, and the energy around the library transformational project is very exciting. And so I can't wait, as I know everybody else, can't wait to have that opened. Our library staff has been tremendous in keeping services going and keeping presence. And that's been a lot of intentional hard work to do. Most of them are relocated in Custer Hall and some other places on campus. And so it's a challenge, but they have been extraordinary in assuring that they're working with the community and the students in particular.
I know I've seen notes that have gone many times talking about this is what we have still, and it's available here. And there's been that really great communication, especially, as you said, with the students and staff to explain that, we're still here for you, even if things are in different places.
Yes. So everybody will be, I'm sure, really happy to be under one roof.
When do we get done with that? What's the timeline on it?
April of 26, I believe.
So it's a little ways off.
March.
Yet. Okay.
March, April 26.
Well, of course, May is always a big time for you. You spend some time in Topeka and you talk to legislators. And we had really good support, which we usually do from the legislators, especially our rural legislators in this part of the area. But it takes the support of the entire group. And there were some monies that came our way in May of last year. Tell us about those, Tisa.
Yeah, really some extraordinary support. We received $15 million for the expansion of Stroop Hall. That's very exciting. And so we'll be adding a 2-story addition onto it or attached to it. And we're going to bring Allied Health over from Cunningham Hall, and they'll be on the second floor of the addition as well. And then there was additional funding for some staffing enhancements with the square footage, what we'll need to do there. We also introduced a new certificate program for telemental health. So, in rural communities for mental health is a problem, and telemental health is a great solution. But we really feel that there's going to be a need for some new skill sets, and eventually accreditation is going to catch up with this as well. And so we have a new certificate program. It's 3 badges. You get 3 badges consecutively, and then they sum up to a certificate. So we received $250,000 over 5 years for that initiative, and another $750,000 over 5 years to launch our professional and continuing education unit, which will be upskilling and reskilling people. We had announced 2 partnerships with that. One's Ed2Go, and you can go online for everything from like photography, medical terminology, sign language, and all kinds of advanced career planning. So we've got that package, and we partnered with IPX, which has what's called CM2 certification, which is all about change management, leadership, production management. So lots of new credentials that people can get to upskill and reskill as the world of work continuously changes.
Employers are looking for that.
Yes, they are.
You had some assistance and support from Senator Moran as well.
Yeah, we're excited to get a $3 million federal investment for health-related programs. So again, back into the nursing and allied health. So more technology and simulation equipment. So as we expand our program, the Kansas Board of Nursing has continued to increase our quota as well. So we're going to need more equipment to train more students and get more nurses out in our rural communities.
Then in June, in mid-year, this was really, I thought, really great to hear. And it's also, I believe, it's the inaugural Carnegie Leadership for Public Purpose classification in Fort Hays State. Not very many people got this, or universities.
No one in Kansas other than Fort Hays State, and only 25 institutions nationwide. And this really has to do with our mission to create engaged citizen leaders. So we want our students not only to go out and be good nurses and teachers in the communities, but also engaged in public service. And we want our students through hands-on learning to be engaged in public services. So we really want people to be engaged in their communities, past their jobs, as they go out and be meaningful contributors.
And then in July, a culmination of something that had been talked about for quite some time. A lot of pieces came together finally, and we now have some strategic alignments that have just been so successful already.
Yeah, so we were just thrilled when we were able to rebrand Fort Hays Tech North Central and Fort Hays Tech Northwest. It's still really fun to say that. The partnership has been extraordinary, mostly because it's being led by grassroots efforts from faculty and staff. We're looking at a lot of new program alignments and efficiencies for our students. So it will be a long time rollout, but we continue to add value through those partnerships.
And then we want to point out that when the fall semester came around, that there was a positive enrollment number there. And, with COVID, everybody's numbers were down and there were some concerns, but we've come around the corner, I guess, and things are looking up.
Yeah, knock on wood, right?
Yes.
We had 19 consecutive years of growth, which is extraordinary.
Yes.
And so when COVID hit and we started losing enrollment, it was really hard for us. But this fall, we had almost 13,000 students, and it was a 9% increase in first-time undergraduate students and a 3% overall rise in our graduate student population. And really important to us, when you look at our domestic students, so online and on campus, 78% of our student body was from Kansas. And we think that's extraordinary, trying to make sure we are part of keeping people in our Kansas communities.
Absolutely. Then as the semester got underway, you were working and signed off on your 5-year strategic plan and then look towards a new one.
Yeah, so we shortened the horizon from a 5-year plan to a 3-year plan to be more nimble and adaptive. And that's got challenges when you have a shortened horizon as well. But our goals are pretty consistent. So they're focusing on academic excellence, student success, strategic enrollment, resources and infrastructure, and impactful partnerships, which really means that professional and continuing education, upskilling, reskilling, that Carnegie classification, focusing on our engaged citizen leaders mission, and then our international efforts. So we're excited to continue to work in those buckets.
How are the international efforts going?
The international efforts are going really well. Of course, we have students all over the world. So when you think of online, that's all over the world.
Yes.
It's really extraordinary. And then we have our international partnerships, which consist of Bolivia and Brazil and China and Cambodia and Senegal.
That's
and
amazing.
So we're doing really well there. There are some geopolitical challenges, as we all know.
And that changes. So
that changes as well. But at the heart of everything in leadership is education and friendship. And that's what it's all about, is focusing on that.
Absolutely. Then in October and fall, this was so much fun, and people are really looking forward to this, and it says a lot about the programming at Fort Hays State University. Serving student athletes, but student is first. It's all part of helping them to develop into great leaders and great athletes while they're at the school.
Yeah, we're so proud of our student athletes. And if you've ever been, I think it's around February or March when we have one of our basketball games and we bring out all of our students on the dean's list. The floor is packed with athletes.
It's amazing.
They're high achieving students in the classroom as well as in their sport. And so we're really excited to have this great new facility, the Bickelschmidt Athletic Complex, which will really serve our outdoor sports. It'll be, most listeners hopefully know, at the football field. And it's really going to be a state-of-art facility focusing on sports medicine. And we'll have a partnership with Hayes Med, so they may do some referrals down to our underwater treadmill, for example, and really cool things like that.
That'll be interesting.
Yes.
Absolutely. Then finally in December, and this is the third year that this has happened, is an annual Western Ag Summit. And of course, we know that agriculture is a huge industry in Kansas, and especially the Western, well, I shouldn't say that. It's important all across the state, but it brings together Western ag producers and leaders and legislators.
Yes, and we have really enjoyed this new tradition because it's kind of a closed meeting, and people and legislators can speak honestly about what the challenges are and wrestle with it without a lot of media around.
I wondered why you weren't inviting me to that. Now I know.
But it does allow people to speak their hearts and their minds. So
Sure.
We're really excited about that. We focused on water, which is important. Our city manager, Toby, was there, and he did a phenomenal presentation. So shout out to Toby, who always does so well.
Yes.
But we're really thrilled that our legislators will come out every year and talk about important issues to this part of the state.
So that's a quick look at the highlights through 2024. Have you had a chance to know what you're going to concentrate on for 25, Tisa?
Well, 25, we'll be really focusing as we kick off on the legislature. We'll be moving forward with our strategic plan, focusing on enrollment and serving our students and communities. All those good things. We are looking pretty good right now in enrollment for the spring semester as well. So hopefully, knock on wood, that will stay and everybody's ready to come and upskill and reskill.
Thank you for all your hard work, Tisa. Have you been able to relax at all during this break, or are you busy as usual?
I'm working and relaxing at the same time. We've had some nice time off our community, so I hope our faculty and staff and our students are getting rested up and are ready to burst out on the scene in 2025 with renewed energy and hope.
And when is the first day of classes?
Right after Martin Luther King.